Hello, welcome to today's edition of the Daf Yomi, Daf 32, Amud A of Teruma, using Steinsaltz edition. Let's dive straight in. While the previous Mishnah enumerated differences between consecration for the altar and consecration for temple maintenance, this Mishnah enumerates halacha that apply to both. With regard to both animals consecrated for the altar and items consecrated for temple maintenance, one may not alter their designation from one form of sanctity to the other form of sanctity. So what's the footnote? Ein mashinim osa mukdusha lekdusha. One may not change the designation of a consecrated item from one form of sanctity to another form of sanctity, whether it was consecrated for the altar or for temple maintenance. One who alters its sanctity transgresses a prohibition, but he is not liable to be lashed on account of this transgression. And that's in the Rambam Sefer Kabban Hilchot Teruma 4:11. The verse states with regard to a firstborn animal, no man shall sanctify it, Leviticus 27:26. One may not consecrate a firstborn animal as a burnt offering or peace offering. The sage derived from this verse that one may not alter the designation of any consecrated item from one form of sanctity to another. But one may consecrate animals already consecrated for the altar by a consecration of their value. Hamakdishim oson hekdes ilu. In such a case, the value paid by the one who consecrates the animal is different if the animal is a vow offering or gift offering. If it is a vow offering, which the owner must replace in the event of its loss, he gives the value of the animal to the temple treasury. If it is a gift offering, he gives the monetary benefit he has in the animal. In Sirichin 28b. The early commentaries disagree with regard to the calculation of this monetary benefit. Rashi explains that it is the amount that one would receive from the Israelite for him to give the offering to his grandson, who is a priest, so that the grandson received the meat of the peace offering or the skin of a burnt offering. Others maintain that one assesses the amount that a priest would pay this individual to delay the sacrifice of his offering until his watch serves in the temple, so that he will receive a portion of it. Yet others contend that one calculates the amount that one who is not obligated to bring an offering would pay in order to bring a gift offering, were he to find such an animal for an inexpensive price. And the Rambam. In any case, the halacha applies only to animals consecrated for the altar, from which the owner has monetary benefit. One may not consecrate animals consecrated for temple maintenance, or those dedicated to the priest by a consecration of value, as the owner has no monetary benefit from them, and that value is donated to the temple treasury for maintenance. And one may dedicate them. One can dedicate all sacrificial animals, whether for the priest or for temple maintenance. If the owner of a dedicated sacrificial animal is liable to replace it in the event of his loss, he gives its value to the priest or for temple maintenance. After it is redeemed, the animal is sacrificed as the offering for which it was originally designated. And that's from the Rambam Sefer Hilchot 6:11, and see also 6:12-14. The other footnote, Macharimin Oson. In addition to the standard form of consecration, one may use the term herem, dedication, cherem, to consecrate any item that he owns to the temple treasury for maintenance or to the priest. One can also dedicate items consecrated for the altar. Such items are praised, and their value is given either to the priest or for temple maintenance. But items consecrated for temple maintenance may not be dedicated, neither for the altar nor for the priest, since such items do not belong to the individual. The early commentators disagree with regard to the literal meaning of the word cherem. According to some, it refers to a loss, as the consecrated item is no longer his and is considered lost to him. Others explain that it means a curse, i.e. one who refuses to transfer the consecrated item to the appropriate recipient, either the temple treasury or the priest, should be cursed. Yet others maintain that it means consecration, and that's from the Encyclopedia Talmudic. The Tanaim and the Amoraim disagree over whether one who dedicates an item without specification is designated for the priest or for temple maintenance, for the purpose of giving the value to the priest. And if animals consecrated either for the altar or for temple maintenance died, they must be buried. If one consecrates a live animal, whether kosher or non-kosher, and whether for temple maintenance or for the altar, and developed a blemish, and the animal died before the court assessed its value for its redemption, it may not be redeemed after its death and must be buried. And the Rambam Sefer Hilchot 5:12. Rabbi Shimon says, Although this is halacha with regard to animals consecrated for the altar, if animals consecrated for temple maintenance died, they can be redeemed. Rav Huna says, with regard to animals consecrated for the altar, if one associated such objects of his vow with dedication for the priest, i.e., he vowed to give their value as a dedication to the priest, he has done nothing. What is the reason? The verse states, notwithstanding, no devoted item that man may devote unto the Lord of all that he has, whether of man or animal, or of his ancestral field, shall be sold or redeemed. Every dedicated item is most holy unto the Lord. Leviticus 27:28. What does that mean? The Mission Tractate Arichin 28b cites a dispute with regard to unspecified dedications. One opinion that an unspecified dedication is designated for the priest is in accordance with the verse, as a field dedicated to the priest shall be its possession, Leviticus 27:21, while another opinion is that it is designated for temple maintenance, as it is assumed that one who dedicates the property prefers it to be given to God. Tosfot explain that Rav Huna's statement and interpretation of the verse are in accordance with the first opinion. With regard to this opinion, some explain that it should be based on the verse, every item devoted in Israel shall be yours, Numbers 18:14, which indicates that every dedicated item, not only fields, is for priests. According to Tosfot, the verse, every dedicated item is most holy unto the Lord, which Rav Huna cites as the source for his opinion, refers to an association of the object of a vow with a sanctified item in the form of a dedication, and it teaches that a dedication for temple maintenance takes effect on sacrificial items, but it does not take effect with regard to dedication to the priest. The verse is interpreted to mean that any dedicated item that is most holy, i.e. is consecrated for the altar and then dedicated to the priest, that item should be for the Lord, and the priests are not entitled to it. The Gemara raises an objection to the statement of Rav Huna from a Braita with regard to items consecrated for temple maintenance that one associated. Kashay Vedakabayish. His pisan v'chulu. If one associates an animal consecrated for the altar with a consecration for temple maintenance, the consecration takes effect on the animal's appraised and is redeemed according to its appraisal. The money is allocated to temple maintenance, and the animal is sacrificed as an offering for which it was initially designated. But if one associates an animal consecrated for temple maintenance with a consecration for the altar, e.g., he says, this animal is a burnt offering, or this animal is a peace offering, or if one dedicates this animal to the priest, he's done nothing. As once an item is consecrated to temple maintenance, it cannot be consecrated for the altar or dedicated to the priest. The reason is that one cannot consecrate an item that does not belong to him. 6a. Another with sanctity, whether with a consecration for the altar, whose sanctity is more stringent than consecration for temple maintenance, or with a dedication to the priest, he has done nothing. And controversially, the reason is that one has no monetary benefit in an item consecrated for temple maintenance, as even the benefit of discretion to choose which priest receives the item is not applicable, since it is not given to the priest. Others maintain that there is a monetary benefit in the item, specifically the assessment of how much one would pay to the temple treasury in order to redeem it for an inexpensive price. See Tosfot. Tosfot therefore explained that the owner of an item consecrated to temple maintenance has no more benefit in the item than any other individual. This is not the case with regard to an animal consecrated for the altar, as there the owner of the animal retains his ties to it. With regard to its redemption, should it become blemished. The reason is that one cannot remove the sanctity of an item consecrated to temple maintenance, and he has no ownership of value in it. As for the benefit of discretion, i.e. the right to choose the priest that will receive the offering, this is not relevant to items consecrated to temple maintenance, and therefore it cannot be suggested that his act of consecration was with regard to the benefit of discretion. Similarly, in the case of a dedication to priest that one associated with another sanctity, whether with a consecration for the altar or with a consecration for temple maintenance, he has done nothing. Or one does not have any right to an item dedicated to the priest, not even the benefit of discretion, as the dedicated item must be given to the members of the priestly watch serving in the temple at the time of its dedication. The Gemara explains the objection. Since the Braita teaches only that one may not associate with another sanctity items consecrated to temple maintenance or dedications to priests, it may be inferred with regard to animals consecrated for the altar that one associated with dedication to priests, that what he did is done, i.e. it takes effect. If so, this Braita is apparently a conclusive refutation of the statement of Rav Huna. The Gemara responds, Rav Huna could have said to you that one cannot draw such an inference from the Braita, as it is possible that the Tana chose to discuss only these two instances while omitting the case of an animal consecrated for the altar. As for the fact that the Tana omitted this latter case, he omitted it due to this reason. Now the halacha differs depending on the case. With regard to animals consecrated for the altar and one associated with a consecration of temple maintenance, what is done is done. And he must pay the temple treasury a consecration of value, but if he associated with dedication to priests, he has done nothing. The Gemara objects, but if so, let the Tana teach explicitly that one who associates an animal consecrated for the altar with the dedication to the priest has done nothing, alongside these other cases of items consecrated for temple maintenance and dedication to priests. The Gemara explains, the Tana teaches instances where there are two types of consecration with which the item cannot be associated, e.g. an item consecrated for temple maintenance, which cannot be associated with either consecration for the altar or dedication to the priest. By contrast, the Tana does not teach a case where there are not two instances with which the item cannot be associated, i.e. an animal consecrated for the altar. Although an animal consecrated for the altar cannot be associated with the dedication to the priest, it can be associated with the consecration and temple maintenance. The Gemara raises an objection to the statement of Rav Huna from that which we learned in the Mishnah. One may consecrate animals already consecrated to the altar by a consecration of their value, and one can dedicate them. The Gemara asked, what is it not of their value that this is a consecration of temple maintenance? And when it states that one dedicates them, it's referring to dedication to a priest. Evidently, one can associate an animal consecrated for the altar with a dedication to the priest. The Gemara responds, no, this is not the meaning of the Mishnah. Rather, both this and that are referring to consecration for temple maintenance. And the Mishnah is teaching that there is no difference whether it expresses the term of consecration, i.e., if he states the animal is consecrated for temple maintenance, in which case the animal is consecrated for temple maintenance, and there is no difference. If he expresses a term of dedication, i.e. he states this animal is dedicated for temple maintenance, and in this case too the animal is consecrated for temple maintenance. The Gemara raises a difficulty, but this is not how it is taught in the Braita. As is taught in the Braita, one can consecrate animals consecrated for the altar by consecration of its value. That is a consecration for temple maintenance, and one can dedicate them by dedication to priests. And furthermore, it isn't taught in another Braita with regard to animals consecrated for the altar that one subsequently consecrated their value as dedication to the priest, that what he did is done. The Gemara concludes, the refutation of the opinion of Rav Huna is a conclusive refutation. The Gemara raises a difficulty. Rav Huna says that the verse as a source for his opinion. Since his opinion is refuted, how should the verse be interpreted? Well, it said that verse is not interpreted in the manner of Rav Huna. The verse states, notwithstanding, no dedicated item that a man may devote unto the Lord of all that he has, whether of man or animal, or of his ancestral field, shall be sold or redeemed. Every dedicated item is most holy unto the Lord, Leviticus 27:28. The emphasis that every dedicated item is most holy indicates that the dedication to the priest takes effect on every item, even with regard to animals consecrated for the altar. Since Allah holds that animals consecrated for the altar may be associated with the dedication to priests, evidently he also holds that they may be associated with the consecration of temple maintenance, and even Rav Huna agrees that they may be associated with such a consecration. The Gemara therefore asked, and did Hula actually say this? Didn't Hula say that one who associates a burnt offering with a consecration of a temple maintenance has only the delay of the treasurers alone preventing him the offering from being sacrificed? And that moved on to the Amud B. And just a footnote here, one who associates a burnt offering with the consecration of temple maintenance, Hamas pis ola levedek habayis. If one consecrated a burnt offering with temple maintenance, the delay of the treasurers alone, see 32b, prevents the offering from being sacrificed, i.e., they must redeem the animal before it may be slaughtered by rabbinic law. If the animal was slaughtered before it was redeemed, the sacrifice is valid. The Rambam moves in according to the explanation of the statement of Ula. Rambam Sefer Flora Hilchot Arich Merachim 6:10. See the Kesef Mishnah there. That's the end of Amud A, and I wish you a very good day. All the best. Bye.